Rev up your engines!
Here's what I love. The morons in New York State are at it again. They have a mandate that by 2035, all school districts have to have electric buses. Here we go again. That Governor Kathy was appointed of New York State when they got rid of the corrupt guy. Now she's in there, right? With their ideas that we'll make a mandate. We have to have electric buses. It's safer for our children, blah, blah, blah. Right? Come on. Let's face the facts. As it stands today, electric buses are $500,000 a piece, right? And if they say they want all electric by 2035, they'll probably cost even more of that. It may actually work out for them by 2035 because New York State does this all by taxing. Tax and spend, right? A lot of people are leaving New York State. I left New York State when I was 18 and I'm 70 now. I left a long time ago. I saw the future in that state stunk, so I left. Maybe by 2035, there'll be so few people left in New York State that they won't need that many school buses. So they can be all electric. They won't need all that many of them because most of the people have left because they were sick of paying taxes, but stupid politicians that have no idea what they're doing, sign deals for wind farms that fall apart, and then they just keep spending more of your tax more. Right before my mother passed away, and she was 95 years old, New York State was trying to get tax money out of her. It's unbelievable. They're scumbags. She was still living outside of Buffalo, right? They were trying to get tax out of this old lady who got Social Security of like $24,000 a year, and they were trying to get tax money out of her. It's a disgusting state. I feel sorry for the people who live there, and they get these ridiculous mandates. Oh, the school buses are all going to be electric by 2035. Ha, ha, ha. Maybe it will because there'll be hardly anybody there, and they'll only need 10 or 15 buses for the whole state. Everybody who's got brains would get the heck out of there as fast as they can. Joe Conkle says, Scotty, I got a 13 Subaru Outback. It burns a couple quarts of oil between oil changes. Think if I use a quart of 5W30 synthetic, it would help? No, don't do that. It is made for lightweight oil. You will ruin the engine putting the heavier oil in it. Now, first things first, what you want to do is just change the PCV valve, the positive crankcase ventilation valve. Costs practically nothing. Buy one, put it in. If it's broken, it'll suck oil, great, and it fixes it. Now, let's say you change your oil every 6,000 miles and you use 2 quarts of oil, okay? That's not that much. It means that your rings are worn. And it's typical with Subarus as they age. You didn't give the mileage, but I'm sure you got well over 100,000 miles. That's why I tell people, if you want to buy a long life vehicle like that Outback, get a Toyota or a Honda version. They're better made. They last longer. You're going to get more lifespan out of them. If you're the type of person that you get rid of your car when it has 100,000 something miles on it, the Subarus are okay because they'll last that long, right? It's as they get older, they're cheaper made and they won't hold up as well as the Toyotas and Hondas. Some people don't care, or some people live in a place where they put so much salt in the road in the winter it rots away, so they don't care. The car's never going to last long because it's going to rot away. So then, hey, you got 100,000 miles, the car's rotting out, you got to get another car anyways. Then it really doesn't matter. But if you take care of your cars, rinse the salt off of it, or live in an area like Tennessee, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, where they hardly ever put salt on the road, you don't have to worry about that, and then you're much better off getting a Toyota or a Honda. Gail Dagger says, I have new tires and worse miles per gallon. I got an 02 Mazda Protege, 140,000 miles. I bought 4 new tires. My gas mileage went from 31 to 28 miles per gallon. Tires are inflated, it handles better, but the drop is really bothering me. Why is this happening? It's a double-edged sword. Your other tires are worn, which means they wore down somewhat, right? So the mileage reading on your new tires is going to be slightly different than your old tires. Just because it doesn't mean you're getting that worse gas mileage. It can just be that your old one is giving you a false reading and the new ones aren't. If you ever want to try this back in time, you can't do it now. Say you got old tires. Get your phone out, right? Put it on Google Maps or whatever. You're going down the road. It'll show you how fast you're going, right? And that's using satellite technology, which is extremely accurate. Let's say you were driving with your old tires and your speedometer says you're going 30 and you're going 30. Or whatever, you'll know what it is. Then you put the new tires on. The speedometer probably won't read 30 anymore when it says you're going 30 with your phone. It'll probably read different. So therefore, you're getting a fake miles per gallon reading. That's the problem, different tires. Plus, here's the thing. New tires have thick new tread. They actually have more friction. So you often will get worse gas mileage because new tires have more friction. They have more grip. There's more friction to them. Plus, guess what? They're brand new. They weigh more. So you're spinning a heavier tire and it's going to take more energy to spin that heavier tire, and you'll get worse gas mileage. That is typical. That happens all the time. You want to really see what's happening, like I say, before you buy the new tires, get your phone out, see what speed you're actually going. When your speedometer says 30, see what your little Google map says. That's more accurate. And then get the new tires and see what it says. You'll probably find out there's a different speed on your speedometer with the new tires too. And that's going to affect what you think you're getting at gas mileage when you're actually not getting that worse. It's just that the reading is incorrect from what it was before because the tires are slightly different size. It gets complicated, but it's typical. That happens all the time. Well, Hyundai's joining a battle of electric cars, and now they say they're going to make their own LFP batteries instead of buying them from China. Now, LFP are the lithium iron phosphate batteries, not lithium ion, but lithium iron. They're cheaper to make, and they're going full blast. They're already using LFPs from China. Now they say they're going to make their own. Now, the thing is, there's a whole bunch of varieties of these LFP batteries. Originally, they were crappy batteries. They had less energy, they didn't last as long, but they seem to be building these better than they used to. But of course, the main thing is they are cheaper. Now, we don't know what's going to happen in the long run. The early LFP batteries had limited range. They were less energy dense. Now they're claiming they're more energy dense. But in the electric business, people claim a lot of stuff and then it finds out it's not true, or, gee, it breaks down too early. As I've been saying for quite some time, hold your horses if you're going to think about buying an electric car. Wait till they have these things out and perfected. Don't be a guinea pig for these car companies. What if those things fail? Then you got a car with a battery system that's failed and it's worth nothing. And what does Hyundai have? They have a history of making crappy cars. So I would not take their experimental guinea pig batteries that they're going to be making themselves and trust it to any extent. Because I'll tell you the truth, over the years, I have bought batteries from Korea. And you know what? They were terrible batteries, and I stopped buying them. Their quality wasn't that good. So I wouldn't bet the bank on this one. They're making their own because it's cheaper. Does cheapness always go in with better quality? No, usually it's the opposite. Here's how the United States never thinks of the actual future, but a fantasy future, right? The U.S. project that was meant to debut revolutionary small nuke power plants just fell apart. A company called NuScale that makes small nuclear reactors got $1 billion in government grants. And they were supposed to build this small-scale nuclear reactor system. But here's the problem. Everybody's thinking short term, not long term. It turns out they're saying, well, it's not economically feasible. They're saying that this was going to be completed in 2029. Then they were going to sell electricity to small electrical cooperatives across the American West by the Utah Associated Municipal Power Systems, a state-owned power company. But now, as things cost more, this NuScale's telling their investors, we need more contracts on the books to sell at least 80% of the electricity we plan to generate by next February. They've only had 25% after a number of utility canceled contracts to buy power from them. See, here's the thing. It's only going to be making power starting in 2029, right? 6 years from now. But nobody's signing up for the power because they think it costs too much, right? They never think long term in this country, and that's going to lead to a big mess. Most of the power stuff that people are building, they run on natural gas now. They're GE gas turbines to make electricity. And you know why? Because that is the cheapest way to make power plants. I saw them build them in New Mexico. They put them up fast. They're relatively cheap, especially compared to nuke power. Of course, they're going on fossil fuels. They're going on natural gas, right? The problem today is if you're competing natural gas electricity price to future 2029 nuke power, of course the natural gas is going to be cheaper and nobody's going to sign up for the contracts, right? There's no long-term planning in this country. And then when the idiots did try long-term, like here on the East Coast, they thought, oh, we'll make wind farms. Well, that's all falling apart already. All these companies are leaving. Well, we're not going to do that. We'll pay our fine, we're not going to build that, right? So, something that's logical, small-scale nukes, they can't do it today because it costs too much money. They don't plan into the future. So instead of something like nuke that is going to work, any idiot can see that creates a lot of electricity, they can last a long time. Some of these plants 60 years later are still going, right? Can you say that about windmills? Of course not. But all these green idiots jumped on the windmill bandwagon, and so now billions have been thrown out to that, and it's already falling apart before most of them have even been built. I wish people would just look at the long term and say, yeah, we're going to put the money in. We'll build nukes. They work. They're expensive, but they can last a long time. And we don't have to build them 35 miles offshore because the rich people don't want to see the windmills flopping around. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.